Hello. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. Probably maybe a short video. And I had a little comment earlier today saying that my Prurigo Nodularis video really didn't talk about Prurigo Nodularis, NP, PN, whatever you want to call it. I just want to stress the fact is I'll show a little bit pictures a little bit later. You guys can tell I usually don't wear short sleeve shirts in the last 5 years. This is it right here. It's actually clearing up. Living with Prurigo. As you can tell, one of the main things that you want to know living with this situation, I didn't have a proper diagnosis until probably about 8 to 9 months ago. It started around 2012 on my back, and at first I thought it was maybe it was pimples or acne or whatnot, and it spread year by year. They said it was stress related. The dermatologist is stress related. It started back in 2012, about 4 years ago, and before that I had severe eczema. It actually went to my face with the nodules on my face last year, and the way that I was dealing with it, living with it, has been a couple things. One thing was covering up, which I don't recommend, but you know, if you're still in that awkward phase of dealing with this, wear long sleeve shirts. You know, like I said, I don't usually expose myself this much and wear shorter sleeve shirts, or even shorts for that matter. You guys can tell these things that have helped me, and everyone's different with I want to say their Prurigo, because I think it's an illness. It's we are not the disease that are carried on our bodies, but what has helped me is vitamin D supplements has helped. Exposure to sunlight, UV rays from the sun, riding my bicycle in the sun, you know, it has helped out a lot. That has helped keeping a low stress level. One thing about the nodules is that they will inflame with stress, whether it be from life, from your job, from whatever, relationships, from if you're stressing out over something, you know what, your skin, your face, your arms, your legs, it's not worth stressing over. I had a doctor before the ER. When I went to the ER, the doctor straight up told me, he straight up said this: "Hey, we're going to chop your leg off if you keep scratching and your leg gets infected." One thing positive about the Prurigo, one thing about the Prurigo Nodularis that was a positive, I found out I was diabetic because of the little bumps that are on there, you know, because of the nodules. If it wasn't for me having the stress and cause the Prurigo to spread through my arms, through my legs, through my face, instead of just my back and the back of my knee, I would never have found out I was diabetic. And because of that, that's when the doctor said last year, "Hey, we're gonna chop your leg off if you keep your leg keep getting infected like that." And I found out, you know, I just have to really be mindful of my sugar levels. Living with Prurigo, you know, I just want to stress for people who are dealing with this, you're not alone. I'm on a Facebook support group. It has helped me. If you want me to add you, I'll give you contact information. Well, it's a closed group, but just direct message me and we'll figure a way to. There's at least 1,000 of us that I know of. It's 1,200 of us that worldwide that have this. It's sad that when I explain to people, I have to tell them it's eczema, when it technically is an eczema, because more people understand what eczema is. They don't know what Prurigo Nodularis is. So, in fact, it was an episode of the Doctors. It was like the Dr. Oz type show. That's how rare it is that they actually made an episode of the doctors on it. And you see the lady on TV, you can tell her she's an African American lady. Her nodules are darker and they look really more pronounced. These things are nothing compared to where they were last year. Everything was bleeding a year ago. Blisters would swell up, blood would pour out. My pastors were praying for me, praying over me. They're trying to figure out what's going on. what I will stress to you the fact is watch your diet. Living with Prurigo, watch you eat, watch stress levels, watch sugars, stop eating sugars and caffeine. That for me, that's a trigger. Sugars and caffeine, stress. If you're a praying person, pray. I've come to realize that with the Apostle Paul, he never stated what his thorn in the flesh was in the Bible, and I'm thinking more and more it's probably Prurigo, but he never stated what it was, but he said God's grace is sufficient. Jesus said, "My grace is sufficient for," and I've had to rely on God's grace. I've had to rely on His mercy on the times where I was feeling very bummed out and depressed and oppressed and feeling woe is me. I've had to think about it. You know what? It could be worse. The doctor could have chopped off my leg because of the infection. Don't scratch. That's another thing. Living with Prurigo, stop scratching. If you have to, on my support group we have people out there that show their battle scars. These are battle scars. As long as we don't scratch the nodules, and some of us have to do UV light. Some of us have to just watch what we do, not scratching, eating right, eating healthy, having good mental attitude and emotional attitude toward. This is just something that's going through us. This is our skin. I've done my research in the last 8-9 months. Some people said it was related to renal failure, it was related to stress levels, it was related to this and this, and Morgellons is the craziest one I've heard. I don't want to say it's crazy, but maybe Morgellons. But whatever, as a rarity as this is, that we're not alone. So I do want to stress to anybody out there, also keep yourself. Use a good moisturizer if you have to. I've balanced between, I don't know if you know, like Eucerin lotion. I've used that on my arms. I've used, cocoa butter really doesn't help. It sort of helps as far as it's supposed to be scar tissue. It's supposed to stop the scars. One of the ones that people, my dermatologist has told me, especially when they're bleeding, I don't know if you can tell, this one's a scab that I scratched recently, a couple days ago, and is bloody. Besides the triamciclone acetate, the lotion, the steroids, I don't like using the steroids, but I'll use them when I have to. For the face, I'll use hydrocortisone. For the arms and the legs and everywhere else, I'll use this triamciclone acetate. As far as the blisters, if you have cuts and blisters that have opened up, you have nodules that have opened up, like I have had a couple this last month, you can see right there. The dermatologist recommended Neosporin, and it's funny because that's an over-the-counter thing, but sometimes the over-the-counter stuff, and quite honestly, a home remedy that my aunt told me, my vegan 85-year-old Filipino aunt told me. She said, you know what, get some aloe vera leaf, and just cut a piece and put it on there. So if you have to use the home remedies, use aloe vera leaf, the plant. Neosporin. I'm trying to stay away from the steroids. I really don't like, there's a lot of bad side effects with the triamciclone, but they will relieve, triamciclone, they will relieve the nodules from the swelling from going down. Some of them have been crusted over and they got really bumpy. Alright, they got really hard, and it's sad because it's like for a while thinking, what the heck kind of cysts are these? I've had people tell me, I've been to 7 doctors last year trying to figure this stuff out, and one of them told me oh my gosh, the different diagnoses I've had throughout the last, it didn't really, I thought I could handle it for the first 4 years when it was just on my back, and I thought it was back knee or whatever. There comes a point you guys just really get some help. Go to a medical professional, get a proper diagnosis from a dermatologist, 3 or 4 second, third opinions if you have to. I said this video was supposed to be short. Like I said, number one thing is diet, drink plenty of water, don't stress, stay away from stress levels, and trigger stress.